Hi there, it's Mark Topley from the CSR Coach here. Hope you're doing okay. Millions of us are now getting used to home working, and as a seasoned home worker, I'm also adjusting because this is a very different situation in which to home work. I've got kids, three kids, 13, 12 and 8. And right now they're all around. And so whether you are a new home worker or a seasoned home worker like me, we're all going through a period of adjustment. And because it's different, I wanted to give a few tips on some things that I've learned over the years about how to deal with this and some things that can help you get through this and survive home working. It is very different because it's very stressful. And the reason it's stressful, I think, is because mixing home and work doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. It's the stress that you feel when you get a work phone call when you're with your family, or vice versa, when a crisis comes up at home when you should be focusing on working with a client or doing your job. So, as much as we can, we need to try and keep those two things separate. Now, that's difficult because we are in and out of things. We've got kids around, we've got families around, or maybe we're on our own. The key thing I think that you need to start with is structure. Have a structure to your day. Make sure you get up, make sure you get dressed, have a shower. Don't sit there working in your pajamas all day. That's not going to help you. Have a schedule. Something called Parkinson's law is worth paying attention to here. And basically, to summarize it, Parkinson's law says that the amount of work that you've got to do will expand to the amount of time that you've got to do it in. So if you contract that amount of time and say, I'm going to focus on this, I'm going to get it done, then you will get it done in that time. It's why you're much more productive just before you start a holiday. Parkinson's law is worth thinking about. Focus on three things that you're going to get done during the day, and don't worry about anything else. You're not going to be able to be as productive as you are in your normal work, so don't try and do that. But identify what those three big things are and then focus on getting those done. I'm very fortunate. I've got an office at home. If you have got an office at home, then great. Something that you can shut the door on. That's fantastic. But wherever it is you're going to work, make sure that you make it your spot. And even if it's a temporary spot that you have to pack away from, make it something that's going to be comfortable and nice to work in. Don't perch on the end of sofas and stuff like that. Even if you just use whatever flat space you can to work in to give yourself a good space. Negotiate the time that you need to work with your family and when you won't be working. So make those expectations really clear. Get people on side. Work it out together. Work out when you're at work and work out when you're not at work. Don't let the two bleed into one. When you're about to focus on something, give people a clue. Indicate when you're about to do deep work. If you're about to go into something you need to focus on, make sure you let people know. There's a sign on the back of that door. I've just spoken to my daughter and the rest of the family and said, look, I'm going to be recording a video for the next 10 minutes. Don't interrupt me. I need to be able to focus. Another thing you can do is to block your day into 30 to 45-minute blocks. And the reason this is a good idea to do is because you're not going to be able probably to have long periods of continuous time unless you live alone, unless you haven't got kids around. But if you have got kids around, then a 30 to 45-minute block means that you can say, bye-bye, see you in a minute, go and do something for 30 minutes. I'm going to focus on this now. If you've got a spouse around or you've got somebody that's helping you with the kids, then they can take the load for 30 minutes. The other thing is that you can use what's called a Pomodoro technique, which is where you work for roughly 25 minutes and then take a break for 5 minutes. So dipping in and out but staying focused in that 25-minute period is also really helpful. Put a schedule up for your family. This is what I'm doing today. These are the times that I'm going to be working. These are the times that I'm not going to be working. Put that on the wall so they can refer to it and come back to it rather than keep having to ask you. If you've got kids, take advantage of when they're asleep. And if that means you've got to work in the evenings, work in the evenings. But then shift your day into those either early mornings or later evenings to get the work done. But take the time off during the day to compensate. You can get very isolated being a home worker, and you won't have the opportunity to go out to coffee shops like I normally do. So set up a buddy system with somebody at work, somebody you can be online with, even if it's just in the background. Have a virtual coffee morning with the rest of your team. Make sure you've got those social touch points, and if you do have video conference meetings, make sure there's some social time built in. Whereas normally we would be like straight into the meeting, let's crack on. Make some time to connect with people because that's really, really important. Be flexible, be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get everything done. You're not going to be as productive as you would normally because there's the very strange situation going on. And the final point to make is when you're on and work at it. And when you're off, be off. So if you can close the door on your workspace, do that. If you can't, then pack your stuff away and put it away. Don't leave your workspace set up would be my advice, because it's a mental trigger and a visual reminder that there's stuff to do. So try and compartmentalize your day, and I think that will help you to stay sane. Hope that's helpful. Have a great day.